Guys, welcome back to yet another video. This is your guy, your boy, your consultant, Tomer del Piso. I just checked my phone and I have 50 subscribers to the channel. And it made me realize something. I don't know what it is I'm supposed to do. I know it involves enlightenment. I know I'm supposed to enlighten people. There's no way my content would get this popular if it wasn't for that. I think I have a specific angle. I think that my experiences have lent to my lens and my speech on how I describe these events. I definitely do understand the role that I'm supposed to play in all this, but I won't shrink from this responsibility, not in the slightest. I'll bring you guys content, I'll bring you guys perspectives from anywhere in the world, everywhere, and however I feel like delivering it. That being said, what am I gonna talk about today, right? We did a lot of semen retention. I want to talk about the metaphysical pillars of this world. That's going to be incredibly deep. What is a metaphysical pillar, right? What are you talking about? What entire nation is Tomer del Piso talking about in regards to metaphysical pillars? Metaphysical pillars are things in this world, aspects of existence that carry on existence. Without those things, existence will be either completely different or cease to exist. I want to talk about color. You mean literal color, like, you know, red fire trucks and green for go? Sure, but I want to try to go even deeper than that. So a color is an adjective, essentially, that describes what people see or what is seen when looking at a thing, right? An object that exists in this world. If you look at the sun, for the foolish people and the curious people that have the inclination to do so, you see that the sun radiates yellow and orange. You go into a doctor's office, the walls of a doctor's office tend to be white. What are the reasons for these colors? What do they represent? Are there some sort of metaphysical or vital, spiritual, mental effect that colors tend to have on people that are within a vicinity to those colors, or that wear those colors, or that observe those colors for a long period of time? I want to explain this in the best way possible, because I wrote about these things when I was much younger. In this world, we are within these various levels, these various shields, right? Atmosphere, stratosphere, layers like that. They are filters for the sun's very, very deadly but warm rays. The sun, of course, because of all these layers that surround our planet, they have various effects. When they finally go through they permeate through those layers and they finally reach us, they have specific effects. Depending on what colors you wear, you could wear, like in my case, black and gray. The light of the sun permeates through the molecular makeup of your clothes, the color of your clothes, and elicits a certain effect. Why is that the case? It has to do with various colors basically lingering at a certain frequency for a long period of time. I went to Australia years ago and I bought a book on colors. I read some of the book, but this book sort of described various aspects of color and how they govern sight, how they govern effects, behavior, things of that nature. When the rays of the sun finally reach us here on Earth, after permeating all the various layers that surround the Earth, they are split up into essentially seven colors. We have red, we have orange, we have yellow, we have green, we have blue, and then we have indigo and violet. Each of those colors have their own frequencies. They all have different wavelengths. Red connects us to that sort of passion, that passion in us, that vital energy. When the wavelength of red connects with your personal frequency, you are driven to overextend yourself physically. Orange, when you harness the wavelength of orange, you tend to be incredibly sociable. You're not at a lack for anything to say. Yellow is one of my personal favorite colors. I think it's a higher wavelength than red and orange. It's like a shining color. It makes you think incredibly fast. You think of solutions very quickly. You enjoy music much better. You sort of identify the different nuances of instruments in a song, or the melody of music resonates with you much more viscerally. Green is an interesting color. I find it to be a very neutral one. It tends to open up your heart a little bit more, so you feel like you connect with people. You tend to divulge a bit more information. Yeah, that's about it for green. Green is such a neutral color. Blue is a very good color. You communicate better with blue. The wavelength of blue governs the mental capability as well. You tend to retain concepts a lot quicker. You tend to break down the nuances of different languages much easier. Blue is a very, very interesting color. Indigo. Indigo, I don't know so much about. I don't even know when I've worn that color. But it tends to, from what I heard, it tends to make you feel sort of above a lot. Like things just happen. You move through those events as they occur. You don't really have a response to those events on a conscious level. Finally, we have purple. Purple is the highest of all frequencies. When I've worn purple, I feel sort of guided, honestly. I do have an effect on my environment with actions taken harnessing the frequency of purple. These colors have different frequencies, and we wear clothes. Clothes tend to have varying colors, and we are essentially, by wearing an article of clothing of a specific color, we are essentially harnessing that frequency wow. We are when you wear clothing of a specific color, you are essentially harnessing that frequency of that color in tandem with your aura. You see, we're getting back to this again, and then you are able to have an effect on the environment around us, because everything is governed by colors, by the light, and by personal emanations of those organisms. Each of us are sort of conduits for frequency, essentially. Not only we produce our own frequency from our auras based on the systems of our body and how optimal they're functioning. And remember, semen retention has a lot to do with strengthening your aura, making it more dense, replenishing the systems of the body, the nervous system, the circulatory system, the respiratory system, which is incredibly powerful. If your respiratory system is out of whack, best believe there are a lot of illnesses that will settle in the body. Let's not get too hung up on that. Due to revitalization and an optimization of these systems in the body, your aura will be different. And when you wear certain colors, you're essentially harnessing the electromagnetic frequencies of those colors in a very unique, specific way. Of course, specific colors work within a certain framework. Blue will always have a certain effect. Red will always have another effect. But in tandem with your personal life, in tandem with your personal aura, your personal systems, you can allow colors to unlock a whole other side of life that you could never imagine possible. That's why it always comes back to personal development of the highest degree. For children, for example, right? Children don't necessarily have sentience, the most sentience. They tend to be rebellious, right? You'll tell them something and they'll do something else. They can't really break down mathematical formulas because they're children. They're in the beginning of their lives. By putting specific colors on children, paired up with their natural frequency, you can elicit results. Blue is a very good color for retaining memory, for speaking clearly, understanding nuances in language. By putting that on a child whose frequency tends to, not necessarily learning new concepts well, you will allow this child to use more and more of their brain, right? And communicate better, retain concepts better. Green tends to be a color that sort of focuses on the heart. By putting it on a child that tends to be a little standoffish, the child will tend to seek connections, right, reflexively, just because that child's personal frequency is resonating with the frequency of green. You could even start to think about all the different effects that color has on our society. You could even go so far as to believe that certain colors are used at specific places to elicit a certain result in order to have a crafted response to that manufactured result. You must think about the myriad things that can be done due to the manipulation of the personal frequency of an individual and the colors that are placed around them. Things are different when we're harnessing the frequency of a color, which is due to wearing that color in a sweater form, t-shirt form, pants, whatever, versus the person being an individual without, not harnessing the color directly or the frequencies of the color directly, and that frequency being emitted in their vicinity. You then start to think a lot about tradition, how China tends to view the color red as a color of good luck, why we wear black in funerals, right? It's to elicit certain responses and to perpetuate the significance of these celebrations, these customs, in a specific frequency. In theory, people can be manipulated by colors. People can harness colors to manipulate themselves, to change themselves. Well, remember, we are in a specific universe. We're in a specific world. We are able to only perceive ocular, in the ocular sight, olfactory, auricular, orally. You can perceive all the different frequencies that pass through us. Because we live in an ecosystem that only allows for a certain range, spectrum of wavelengths, like I said, the wavelengths covered within the 7 colors, there can only be so many events or so many types of events that occur within this space, because wavelengths are everything. We emit frequencies, we harness wavelengths by wearing specific colors and interacting with the ecosystem, with the environment, and with other people that also have their own personal frequencies. I'll go back to the practice of semen retention. When you do this practice of semen retention, of course you optimize your system so your energy gets a little higher. So after a certain period, with the practice of semen retention, the energies and the frequencies that you've collected tend to be inhibitors to the colors that you harness, those frequencies that you harness. As a result, you will get a completely different effect. The only thing I could say really is understand your colors, understand the frequencies of the things around you, and make a decision. Live your life. But yeah, that's colors. That's one of the metaphysical pillars of this world. With that being said, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this video with a couple friends if you believe that person really would benefit from listening to what I have to say. And as always, stay radiant. I'll see you guys in the next one.